Welcome back to American Wing Chun. I am Sifu Matt, and in this video I will be teaching the chin bow, which is an arrow step. Bow means to step, chin is an arrow. The idea of this is that your stance, which you can go back and refer to the Chum Q video, the first set of Chum Q, you can see how to open the stance and some details about how the stance is formed and the way that it should be applied and how it's done. So from the stance itself is kind of like a bow that's drawn, and the step, the leg that steps out, is like an arrow shooting from that tension of the bow that's drawn back, and then you release the arrow. So the details for this, you're in this triangular shape with your stance. You're going to take one foot or the other. You should be able to do both sides. And as you've learned the details and you can do one side, when you practice it, you should practice the left side, then the right side, and the left side, and alternate sides each time you practice it. So you don't have one side that's good and one side that's bad. You want to have both sides, both are good. So to start with the left foot stepping down the line, the right foot is going to turn parallel to the left, pivoting on the center of the foot, so that the distance between the feet stay the same. From here, you're going to shift your weight onto that leg. So there's no weight on my left leg right now, and I can pick that up without any weight shifting. From this position, once I've shifted my weight, my left foot is going to circle backwards behind the line that I'm standing on first. So it goes behind the line and together with the feet. And while I'm doing that circle, the bottom of my foot stays flat on the floor through that whole circle until I pick it up where I can't reach the ground any further. I pick up to get some distance and put the center of that foot on the center of that line. The squeeze in your stance drags the back leg also onto that line. So the center of my back foot and the center of my front foot are on the same line down the middle. And then to retreat, the retreating footwork is just as important, if not more so, than the advancing footwork. The 45-degree angles that I have in my feet, I maintain that angle with my front foot as I slide it all the way back to that T of the line. Back to that line, still 45. The old back foot, the now new front foot's going to turn out as it also slides back to that line, and I'm back in my character 2 stance with this line going down my center. So that's the step. I turn my right foot, I shift my weight onto that leg, my left foot circles backwards behind the line, picks up, and then step. The moment my front foot touches the floor, my back foot slides behind it. And it's kind of like I'm stepping on thin ice, where my weight stays back. 100% of my body weight is on this back leg, and the moment this foot touches, it squeezes, kind of like front wheel drive. The front foot pulls the back foot forward. Same thing on the other side as well. The left foot will turn parallel to the right. You shift your weight onto that leg, you circle, step, and slide. So the whole thing goes in one motion. Once you've turned the foot, it circles and goes. So you circle and step onto the line. If you see this from the side angle, where I'm going to step down this line, I am on this line, shifting my body weight. I circle and I step. All of my weight is on this back leg. If you have weight on this front leg and that leg gets swept, you can fall down and lose your balance, so you don't want to have that. You want to have all your weight on the back leg. Having the weight on the back leg also allows you to kick with the front leg without telegraphing that you're picking that foot up. If I had weight on that leg and I want to kick with it, I have to first shift my weight onto the back leg and then pick up my foot to kick. Whereas if my weight stayed back the whole time, it's free just to launch the kick whenever I want to, without any kind of telegraph. So that's the chin bow, where we circle the foot and step forward down the line. And you want to alternate sides each time you do it. The body, where the shoulders and the hips stay square through this whole step. So my legs, when I step down this line, is very circular with my leg, but the arms and the body stay square and they go straight. So when we add this with a punch, this is one of the most important pieces of footwork that we have in our lineage, is this chin bow with a step and punch. So the punch starts first. We have this concept or motto, hands before the body. I start my punch first. If you see it from the side, I start my punch first, and once it gets to the wrist of my other hand, let's say if I was in the Man Sao Wu Sao position, and I make fists, I punch out. Once I get wrist to wrist, that's where I start my step, and then I continue through the rest of the step while my arm is still in motion. So my hand goes first, and then I step behind my punch. I don't want to start my step and then punch after the fact. I want to add the force of my step behind the force of my punching arm as I'm doing this motion. So my punch happens first, and then I start my step to move in. This is the foundational movement of the whole Wing Chun system. All of your techniques rely on this attack, this step and punch being very good. I like to mention to my students, it's kind of like the Charlie Brown Christmas tree. If you have a good, strong Christmas tree, you can hang all sorts of fancy ornaments or techniques on the end of that punch, and now they'll all be able to be supported by that tree. But if you have a little wimpy Christmas tree and things are wrong, you try to do one technique, hang one ornament on it, just like in the Charlie Brown Christmas episode, the whole tree falls over just by hanging one ornament on it. One technique can make it fail if your foundation is not laid firm. So you want to have a good, solid foundation with this step added to your punch. Because from here, all the other Wing Chun techniques that we have apply from that position. This chin bow is how we cover distance between us and our opponent. If they attack at us, we want to intercept them by punching first with our hand to cover the majority of this distance. They are stepping into us to attack at us. Our attack is our defense, and then we walk behind our defensive punching motion here. And it also wedges through their attack. If my body turns as I do that, it creates a ramp up my arm to my head instead of a ramp down my arm and away from my head. So that wedging effect that we have in Wing Chun only works if your body's square. If your body turns to the side while you're advancing forward, it doesn't work so well. If you do a stance turn from your character to stance, you can do a wedging motion on the inside of someone's arm, or wedging maybe outside, from outside to inside this way, if you're gonna do that kind of turning motion. But when you're stepping towards somebody, the base of your triangle, which is your shoulders and also your hips, because your knee also makes another wedge shape with this step, the base of that triangle needs to be very wide. The more you turn your body sideways, the thinner the base of that triangle becomes, and the less of a wedging effect your punch will have. And it will actually lead their hand to your head instead of leading them away from your body. So you need to have that wide base of the triangle. So the details again are that all of my weight shifts onto this other leg. After I've started my hand punching first, I shift that weight. I'm punching down that line while my body is getting offline. And I circle that leg, and now my body comes right back behind my fist on this line. And then you can do chain punches down that line, and advancing steps are now where you have that front foot advancing. Once you've stepped in, that front foot can now advance by just stepping further with that same leg. If they go further, let's say you hit somebody with this punch and it knocks them backwards a little bit, you can stay on them with that advancing step. But if you hit them really far away or they maybe jump backwards, a passing step can be done with the back foot now stepping to replace the front leg, and you cover more distance that way. And so you just stay on your opponent once you've gone in. They attacked at you, you went in and stuck to them with your footwork, staying on them and striking them until they stop moving, basically. So this is the chin bow. You circle and you step. All the weight stays on the back leg while I'm punching. And a common mistake that people make is that they will, because they're circling their leg, they will tend to circle their punch as well. And now there's a sideways force happening in their punch instead of this forward motion of the arm that's reinforced by the forward motion of the body once you've done the step. So that squeeze again in the stance pulls your back leg forward. So when you take one step, both of your feet should move. You should never have this kind of position where you step and this back foot stays here. You should always pull that back foot in underneath you. So there's a slight, there's kind of a discrepancy here. You cannot keep all of your weight on this back leg the whole time and pull yourself forward with this front foot. There has to be a little bit of weight that transfers off of that leg that you then pull your back leg up underneath the structure of your spine so that your weight stays on that leg and it stays back. We're trying to keep the majority of our weight, the majority of the time, on this back leg. So when I step and punch, if I said that the weight distribution was 20-80, then now I'm trying to put 20% of my weight on that front leg. Now it's like I'm supposed to have weight there. We say it's 100% of the weight on the back leg, 0% of the weight on the front leg, so that you are trying to stay back as much as you can, even though there's a split second where there's some weight a little bit forward, but as your back foot slides in, it comes in underneath where your weight is, and now it will be on the back leg. Another thing about this step is at any moment through the step, you should be able to take it back. You should be able to abort it. You should be able to take it and put it in any other direction that you want to put it in. You shouldn't be stuck in only just going down that line. So keeping the foot flat on the ground as it circles until you pick it up to reach a little bit further. Keeping your foot as low to the ground as possible is why you're doing that. The higher you pick up your foot, the longer it takes for your foot to go back onto the floor. And it takes longer for you to change directions if your opponent changes their direction and they try to catch you off guard or they try to flank you. You want to keep it flat on the ground because as you're circling, you can still move a different direction if you need to. At any moment through this step, I should be able to change directions and go in any direction with this. So we train first off to go down this line so that we can go towards a person that we're facing. But if you got attacked from a different angle, we can also circle and step at that angle. And the reason why we're circling in the first place instead of just going straight is so that you protect your groin. If you're being kicked down this line, that circle circles around that leg. You can actually see this on the dummy here. You see that leg sticking through here. When you circle, you go around it. So you're circling around this leg that's coming in. And whether it's they had stepped and punched down the line and their leg is on the line, you can circle around their leg and get deep into their stance with your attack. Or if they were kicking down the line, you're circling around that kick so it defends your groin, but you're also wedging out their stance as they're on one leg when they're kicking. They don't have this stability of their stance anymore because they're on one leg. So we want to try to circle around that as much as we can. And we always assume that they're kicking. We don't know if they're going to kick or not, but this is what we call the universal solution in our system. You universally defend the lower body and the upper body by advancing with hand and foot simultaneously. So my punch defends my upper body, whether it's going to be whatever other technique we have in the system with the hands. My hands defend my upper body. My legs defend my lower body. And at any moment through this step, just like I can change directions and step in any other direction, you should also be able to kick at any moment in this step. So if I'm going to step and punch, while my foot, let's start back here, while my foot is on the ground pulling my back leg forward, you should still be able to pick it up to kick, because while it's pulling your back leg, the moment you pick it up, it stops pulling your back leg and you're stable again. At any moment through this step, you should still be able to pick up and kick. If from the very first part of the step, where I turn my foot to start my step going this way, I should be able to kick now. As I circle, I should be able to kick now. As I've circled more, I should be able to kick now. As I've put my foot down, I should be able to kick now. As I'm sliding my back leg in, I should be able to kick. So at any moment, you should be able to do that kick because you are not putting weight on that leg as you step and kick. You're keeping it back. If I put my weight forward and then I shift back, that puts my head closer to their attack before it pulls back, and we don't want to do that. We want to stay back the whole time. I'm staying back in my stance as I'm punching. And this allows us to change in different directions. I can advance forward and go straight down the line, or I can advance forward and turn this way. And with that same leg, I just step with my right leg. If I step with my right leg again, I should be able to turn and face to my left. So this front leg, when it steps, it gives you a lot of mobility, something I like to call omnidirectional stepping. I should be able to step in any direction with this step, whether I'm starting in this stance, or as I start at this step, I need to be able to change directions for whatever reason that might be. Anything can happen in a fight. I should be able to step backwards completely. Sorry about that. We got the footage cut off a little bit there at the end. So what I was saying was you have omnidirectional stepping, meaning you can step in any direction. So I should be able to step with this chin bow down this line with my punch, or I should be able to step in a different direction, or I can even step behind myself and face the opposite direction. So you have this omnidirectional stepping. There's also what we call omnichronal stepping, meaning at any time in the step I can change and go a different direction. So this is an uncommitted step. I'm not committed to this punch and stuck only being able to go that way. I am not pushing off with that back foot. I am taking my front foot and stepping and pulling myself in. So at any time through this attack, I can also move in a different direction. I'm not stuck in one direction of movement. As I'm stepping forward, I can then change directions in any other direction. Whether I go forward or I change from forward to backwards, you should have that ability as well. So that's the gist of the chin bow. Being able to use that in any direction at any time, keeping the weight on the back leg as you're doing this so that you can not be swept and so that you can kick at any time without any telegraph. You're also shifting offline, so if the attack was coming down your center, your attack goes straight into their attack and covers their attack with your arm. As you are getting offline, your attack stays on that line, and you move back in behind that attack that you have there. So you're circling offline and then back onto the line, and then continuing to attack down the line. And that is the chin bow.